Hello and welcome to the Love Talk Show, where we confront myths and misinformation when it comes to relationships.
Where couples and singles learn to love intelligently.
Long-distance relationships, do they really work? You know, Rafaela, with today's technology, the advancement of technology and the various types of communication, all types of apps available out there, so people nowadays see more than fitting to communicate on a long distance, to have a relationship on a long distance, And people more than ever, they are, appealing to this kind of relationships.
Yeah, I think it's even romantic, to get to know somebody from the other side of the world, to have the opportunity to get to know so many people, and the chances that you'll find the love of your life on the other side of the world. So people are going for long distance relationships nowadays more than ever.
That's right. But before we delve into this topic, Rachel Edwards researched a little bit more whether it works or not. So let's see what she has to say.
Well, look, Rafa, when we look at the statistics, it seems that the jury's out as to whether or not long distance relationships can work. One group of researchers examined 63 long-distance relationships and found that long-distance couples were more likely to work harder in their communication than those living in close proximity to one another. And this is made even easier today with technology and especially apps which allow for constant communication all over the world. Despite this though, another study shows that 40% of all long-distance relationships end up failing in the end, even if the pair are married. And it's thought that this could come down to jealousy and trust issues. You might feel like you know what's going on in your partner's life, but it goes without saying that it's easier for them to hide a double life from you if they're on the other side of the world. Interestingly, researchers found that women handle long-distance relationships better than men do. This study showed that physical separation was more difficult for men than it was for women. So what happens if you do manage to go the distance and see things through until you reunite? Well, again, I'm afraid it's not all plain sailing. 1/3 of couples end up breaking up after just 3 months of reuniting. And the main reasons for this are the loss of independence each partner experiences, heightened conflict and jealousy, and mainly a failure to prepare for the changes that reuniting will bring to each person's life. In fact, 70% of breakups occur after partners reunite because partners are unprepared for their reunion. One thing all studies agree on though is that long-distance relationships are on the rise. So what do you think, Luke and Rafa? Is this new trend a good one?
Yes, Rachel, it is on the rise, no doubt about it. It's a trend. And besides all the statistics and the research, we have seen that firsthand because we deal with couples on a weekly basis. This is the work we do. And we've seen, we've spoken to people who are in a long-distance relationship. Now the question is, does it work?
Yeah. Is this new
That's
trend?
why we're here today, to find out.
Yeah. Is this new trend a good one? Is it helping couples? Is it making couples happier, more fulfilled in their love life? That's the question we're going to try and answer here in today's show. We have received some questions, quite a few questions about this topic, long-distance relationship, and we want to take advantage and answer some of these questions today. So, shall we see the first one?
Let's see it.
Hi, I've been in a long-distance relationship before, and I'm actually thinking about going into another one again. Do you guys have any advice for me going into it, especially considering my last one wasn't actually very successful? Thank you.
Well,
did she say was successful, wasn't successful? Obviously it finished.
I don't think it was successful.
No,
Otherwise, if she was successful, she would be in that relationship right now. Well, that alone explains, or perhaps that alone could be an answer for her. I mean, we don't have the details of what happened. We don't have the details of how they conducted that relationship. but as she said, it didn't work. So I think that she should analyze now if she's willing really to go into another long distance relationship, and if she is willing to do that, how is she going to handle that?
I think I have a curiosity, you know, because she has just been in a I don't know how long ago, but she has been in a long distance relationship,
Right.
and now she's considering going to another one. I wonder, why is that? I think when it happens,
It's a trend after all, as we are discussing it today.
But it happens.
So people don't see that as perhaps as a bad thing anymore, like back in the days.
I'm not saying it's bad, but I wonder why. So sometimes it can happen. You met somebody, but that person's from somewhere else, or you met somebody online. But why would you? She's thinking of going into another one. Why would you prefer a long distance relationship instead of someone who you can relate to?
We have also those cases in which, for example, here in London, for instance, we have people from all over the world, right? So they have someone back home, someone that they were dating before or was, a friend in the past. They are very much related or attached to that person on a different level, more than just friendship. And they want to be together, but that person's back home, and this woman, this man is here in London or in the UK working, studying. So they want to have a relationship with that person back home. So how will they handle that? Can that work? Will they be traveling back and forth? Is it enough to talk over the phone, WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook Messenger, Skype? Is that how you want to keep that relationship going? So based on what Rachel was saying, the statistics show that many of them, I think 40% up to 50%, almost half of those relationships don't work. So that's quite a lot.
Yeah, I think that you need to, the first thing that you need to do, because here we encourage people to think, right? To love intelligently. So love with your head instead of what you feel. First thing that you need to think about is, why are you going for a second distance relationship? Why is it that you are preferring that over meeting somebody face to face? What are the circumstances around it?
So did it fail? The first relationship failed due to the long distance, or was it something else? That's something that we don't really know. It's not very clear from her question, right? If it's due to the long distance relationship, then she has to really think 3, 4, 5 times before making that decision. If it was for something else, maybe the long distance wasn't an issue, then she can consider, but she needs to really, really think about it. As you said, appeal to intelligent love, appeal to intelligence. So put all the cards on the table, analyze everything, every possible outcome, and see how it's going to turn out.
Yeah, so I'd say first why you're considering another distant relationship. And I think it's important that she sees what she learned from the last one.
Exactly, yeah.
You've had an experience. It's not something that you heard from a friend. You've had an experience. You saw some things that work, some things that don't work. So what can you take from that last relationship? What are the things that you learned from it? What are the mistakes that you have made? It's very important, because one of the reasons why people go from relationship to relationship and failed relationship to failed relationships, because before analyzing, before seeing, wait a minute, what can I learn from my past relationship? They don't. They just, let me just forget the last one and go for the next one.
Sometimes it's all about changing partners. Okay, that one didn't work, let me try with somebody else. And it's all about trying with somebody else. You can't just simply say, you can't just simply find a replacement. No, you have to see why that relationship ended, weigh the pros and cons, the outcome of that first relationship or previous relationship, and then see what you're going to do for the next relationship, the improvement that you need to apply or the changes you need to apply. See how you're going to go about that relationship. As I said, it's not all about replacing that other person, that previous person, that previous partner. It's also about making a different investment, or invest a little bit more, perhaps go about that relationship in a different way. And in this case, perhaps a long distance relationship is not applicable anymore because maybe it didn't work. We don't want to give much right now because we're going to reveal our point of view, also based on what we've seen and experienced with couples that we've counseled. But that's pretty much it. You have to really look in depth, take a very, very deep analysis and see whether that's going to work or not. Okay?
I think she started good because instead of already being in a relationship, she's let me see.
Now,
so you're already one step ahead. So instead of you just going for it, you are doing well. Give it time, there's no rush for you to consider, like you said, I think you said very well. If it's applicable, if it's worth going for, you need time for that. So instead of just going into it and seeing what happens later, see first if it's even worth starting in the first place.
That's right. And if you'd like to send us your questions, your video questions, you can email us your question at questions@lovetalkshow.tv or send your questions to our Facebook page,
our
Instagram page. Feel free, send us your video question, okay? Questions@lovetalkshow.tv or our Facebook or Instagram page. We're gonna go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll have another question to answer. Stay with us.